immediately.
Let me see.
Garson sad. Garson is sad because D&D was canceled. But Garson also knows that there's a show going on, so like always, I have a backup plan.
Oh my dear God.
That was the backup plan. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of a second actual episode of Forgotten Table Tales. I'm your host, Garson Mavell, and with us is my lovely co-host.
Heyo, what's up? It's Jitter.
And our special guest for our continuing series on the book, Kinks and Cantrips, Cross.
Wait, huh? Oh, yeah, hi, that's me. I'm here.
Okay. Now, as many of you are probably aware, this is not our normal night for recording this. We actually are usually doing our D&D sessions, but we had life emergencies. A lot of us. No one's blaming anyone. This stuff happens, obviously. So we wanted to salvage the night as best we can, and today we're going to be talking about the last part of Kinks and Cantrips, which is character creation. So, instead of playing our normal D&D campaign, I brought my D&D players to take a look at the book and give their honest feedback on some of the stuff we are talking about. This is reminding everyone that if you are watching this, that if you are not 18 years of age, please go outside and touch some grass. There might be a fairy outside that'll help you. As always, and like a bard that was kicked out of the college for seducing the dean's daughter, I welcome you all to our table.
Hello.
I don't get the metaphor, but okay.
I roll.
I rolled a nat 20 on the charisma, and the dean's daughter said yes. Much like Statlin's shorthand. Anyway.
All right, fair.
So, we're going to be giving everyone's unique and immediate reactions to some of the additional player creation stuff, because as we all know, when you are a DM, you make the story, and the players, they make the characters to play parts in that story. That being said, I'm going to just throw this out there, that there was a lot of items and mystical stuff that we were looking at, and I don't know how much we are going to be able to show, but we are going to try to get away with it as fast as possible. So, let us start. Pulling up. Oh, looks like something's going... Alright. Oh, can't go any higher than that. Anyway. So, everyone. Do y'all have the book open?
Yes.
Yes.
Bunzi, Neko, do you have the book open?
I am trying to have it open because it's like, give me a problem. Give me 1 second.
Okay, and Bunman, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Alright, so let's all just dive right into this, shall we?
Okay, I have it open.
Alright, so we're going to be opening up at page 88. We can't show page 87 because there is, a lot going on. But you guys have not seen this book at all, have you? We've been talking, me and Cross and shit have been talking about this for like 2 weeks now. You guys have not seen this book at all.
So this, I did not, you didn't tell me I could have had this a long time ago.
Yeah.
I had only like found it a few weeks back, and then showed it to Chitter, and then we set this up a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's still a relatively new find for me. So
Yeah, but this could help so many D&D nerds find happiness and love. This could
thank
really
you.
help. What the hell? Why has no one been promoting this to help people?
We've been doing that. We've been doing that for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I found about it through the channel D&D Shorts. They did a video on it, and that's a big D&D channel. So yeah, so I hope that it gets more of a spotlight on it.
But
Yeah, and just to give like the minute recap for the players, basically this isn't just a book of like, oh, you get your basic little touch of kinky history and some races and some classes and some items and whatnot. No, this is an entire world where it's built around the idea, and this is not a joke, where consent is considered good and no consent is considered evil in terms of these acts.
Well, yeah.
That would make
This
sense.
to
we
teach
go.
people how to get.
Yeah, it teaches. Like every other thing that's brought up, be it a lore figure, a class feature, a race, or something. All they all have these different author notes, which says, "Hey, this thing was inspired by this kink. Here's a little bit of information about it and how it's practiced or engaged with in the real world." So it's an educational tool as well.
Oh, okay. All of you better pay fucking attention, because this is how you can teach people how to get boundaries with D&D. This is the best thing for therapists to use. Why the hell has no one used this for anything than just, you know what?
Well,
Fine.
well, that's why we're looking at it. So that way we know what to expect and we can start using it. We can practice what we're saying. I'm glad you're so excited and like passionate about this. This is great.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start with a few character customization options that are unique to this book, starting with the races and species that you can be in Bundhiem. And if everyone would open up their textbooks to page 88, you'll notice a scantily clad Mercury Webman who's not wearing any pants. We cannot show this, so we can only show the part where there may be clothing, because Papa Twitch does not like when boobies are around, unless we're in the hot tub section. And we're in a bathing
But
suit.
her nipples aren't showing.
Doesn't matter.
So, yeah, to be fair.
Doesn't matter. Twitch doesn't care. But we're going to scroll down a little bit and show the heart-shaped plunging neckline. So, looks like we're talking with we're looking at the Cubling to start with. And it says here whether it's an Ilbegon mating with a okay. Yeah, I should probably mention something. Real quick, does anyone know various types of terminology for kinks?
Yes.
Okay, well, I know
Yes.
jack shit, so I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong.
Yes.
So,
Lattice effects.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
So,
surprised you're in the VTuber community. How do you not know a lot of BDSM stuff?
I was about to
Lol.
say.
I'm in a committed relationship, and there go, I don't know. I never really looked at it.
Anyways.
Yeah, anyway.
Well.
So, it looks... So basically, the Cubling looks like it is a mixture of a normal ooze, like a gelatinous cube, black pudding, something like that, that mated with a latex ooze, and created this thing. That is my explanation for it. I'm probably not going over any of the details of it, but I did think it was pretty an interesting way to start with.
Yeah.
It's the best way that I can describe it is that it's an expanded upon but it's an expanded upon version of the correct me if I'm wrong, it's the plasmoid.
Plasmoid is one version of an official D&D like slime person race, but it's that has a different approach to it. The plasmoid has less of a defined like physical form and is more of like an amoeba with a generally humanoid shape. Whereas the Cubling, as you can see from the art, is very, very structured and detailed. So, yeah. Like, there's still obviously like the viscous slime features, but yeah.
Yeah. And like, for example, it takes that like shape shifting to the amorphous size, which is basically you can go one size up or down to a cap of small or large. In addition, you may squeeze through a space as small as 1 inch wide. But this is an interesting sentence that I don't think any of the D&D official races actually say. And it's an interesting line. None of the items you are carrying or wearing change sizes, so may not necessarily fit through small spaces.
Interesting.
And not only that, it also has a few unique features. Obviously, we're going to be talking about some stuff. Constitution increased by 2, Dex by 1. Not bad for stat increases. I think that's pretty good. It reaches adulthood at age 20 and then basically lives until their 3rd century. So basically, party girl down forever. It is, it can shrink. obviously we talked about that. It also is viscous, so it has so it's basically Monkey D. Luffy resistance to bludgeoning. And this one I'm actually kind of intrigued about. It can actually alter their sex at any time. It has the alter sex cantrip.
Yeah, that we will be bringing that more up towards when we start talking about the cantrips and whatnot. But that is both very interesting for the particular race to have it. But the fact that altering your sex is just a straight up cantrip and you can do it on the fly shows how little they really care about the rigidity of, well, bodies in general,
Mhm.
in a good way.
Mhm.
And not only that, as we all know, if you do have a slime girl, they are contractually obligated to be able to grow any genitalia at any moment, as anime has told us.
I mean, well, yeah, that's why
Yeah.
it has a cantrip.
Yeah.
It just has the rule.
Yeah, so if
Yeah.
so if the DM says I cast alter sex and grow a 15-foot cock, you know, it is not a it's not a breaking
Okay,
of the game
15
rule.
is a little much, my guy.
Uh,
15 is
So-
a little much.
So, hyper is a certain kind of kink. Anyway, I'm not gonna go
I'm
there.
kidding. All right, look. I'm not saying it's normal,
Garson,
but yeah.
Garson, all I'm going to say is the Barbarian gets into that.
I shouldn't be allowed to talk about this.
And yet here we are, moving on.
Yes. Now it looks okay, and next we have the furry subclass, otherwise known as the fur folk. Okay, I'm tapping out. I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know. I don't know what
Hey,
I'm doing.
don't forget my
This one-
steelies.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
down below, Neffy.
but here's the
Fine.
thing that I find fascinating about the fur folk is that sure, you could say like, "Oh, it's furries." And that's fair. That's a fair surface level interpretation of it. However, if you take a look down at the bestial heritage, it basically takes the simic hybrid and basically goes, that's cool, but what if it wasn't just aquatic? What if you
Mhm.
got to pick and choose? This is basically the Lego race, as I would describe it.
Lego
because-
race.
Because you get to pick and choose what pieces suit you best for a campaign. If you want to play a fur folk and you know that you're going into a lot of aquatic area, well, chances are you probably aren't going to get the camouflage or the wall climbing, but you may get the amphibious one so you can breathe underwater, or you may get let's see here,
The
fins and
occupy.
feathers so that you have a swim speed.
Mhm.
Merciful.
Yeah, it's very much a pick and choose. And same with the next one, which is basically the critter class. So these are quarry fur folk.
Why
which is
does the
basically-
Minotaur look sexy?
Why not?
Big-
You
Yeah,
see
why?
the title of the book, right?
We should just change that to everyone knows something except Garson. He's just shocked.
Carson, you see the title of the book we're reading, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, are we talking about the Mythkin, or are we still, or are we going? Just I don't want to lose our place.
This
Nope.
is still the fur folk. We're gonna get to Mythkin in a moment.
Yeah, we're just talking about the quarry fur folk, which is more well, to put it bluntly, it's more the ones that you would find in darker environments, so more cavey environments, with stuff
Mhm.
like burrowing or quiet step or tremor sense, stuff that would make sense for you to have.
Chitter, small thing. You're thinking of the wrong definition of quarry. Quarry, they're using it as the opposite of predaceous, as in it's prey animals.
Okay.
That's why they're alert to danger. That's why they're generally adorable or hyper aware. And they have these different things that help them stay safe. from
Mhm.
other predators.
So the
So, yeah.
bunnies. So the bunnies
Yeah.
then.
Yes, bunny would be an
Bunnies,
example. I
squirrels.
see bunny, squirrels.
Puppies.
Chipmunks, prey animals. Prey animals.
I see
Yeah.
quills as an option. So
Cubs.
there you go. You can finally be Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I like all the different all the different racial traits that you can pick from. It seems like at least you can build your own character pretty well, and it
Mhm.
does open up to a lot of different potential builds. And once again, I'm still looking at the artwork for the Minotaur with the axe. Anyway, I'm going to scroll back up, but I think that's actually kind of a neat trick that you can basically you can pick any three of them and build your own character.
Yeah, and Garson has had an awakening.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Garson. It's fine.
I'm not gonna
They
win.
have alpha and omega shit in here.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh yeah. You
I
ever
saw that.
get to that?
Oh no.
We are not
no.
gonna get through this. This episode is gonna be we're probably gonna have to put the VOD on Fansly at this point. Just talk about all this.
You mean Funzy?
Yeah, you
Funzy.
know, fine, whatever, Funsley.
Blue Twitch.
Yes.
Blue
Yeah,
Twitch.
the Funsley.
Blue Twitch.
Oh, you know,
Anyway.
The Twitch that
The
that
better
still becomes
Twitch.
green.
Next up.
All right,
yeah.
let's keep it moving.
Moving on. So we're going to talk about now the cousin of the furfolk, the Mythkin, which I believe is basically demons, Oni, stuff like
Yeah.
that. God damn it. Anyway,
Lycans.
but it looks
These are
like
my favorite classes.
Mhm.
That you're scrolling past.
I'm not scrolling past. I'm just trying to find I'm just trying not to put too much artwork on the screen, but I can't, so I'm just gonna leave it like here. But
That's fine. I mean, yeah.
so
Yeah,
okay, so this is actually kind of cool because for one, we do have kind of a demon race already in standard D&D, the Tiefling. They are always considered. I always thought the Tiefling were like one of the cooler races that you could be because they all have different features based on what demon race lineage you have in you. But this one seems to take it a bit farther. And one thing I actually really like is if you look up there, they have the rebirth ability, which at 0 hit points, they can spend 1 or more hit dice to regain hit points equal to total roll and then spring back to life, which I think is kind of cool. So basically they get a 1 do-over ability. That's from a gameplay mechanic pretty cool.
Yeah. It seems like for the Mythkin, they saw that like you were saying with the Tiefling, that there are a variety of different playable species that is just like, oh, it's a person version of this mythical creature. So they expand on that. It's not just, oh, ASMR and Tiefling and Dragonborn. Well, you have other options beyond that. You could be elemental or giant related or unicorn related. So yeah,
Right.
so this takes that base idea and expands upon it first, and like the furfolk, just gives you the different traits to choose to better represent what your heritage is.
I'm sorry, did you
And
say
also-
unicorn?
Yeah, it does list unicorn in the first bit of text there as potential.
for example, one
oh,
Mythkin may have a unicorn horn.
Yeah. In that very first paragraph.
I don't want to make the joke, but I'm thinking it.
Tisk,
And
tisk.
what makes it interesting is not only do you have preternatural physique traits, which gives you a passive ability, but then you also have a mythical moment, which is basically you get to choose something that basically you couldn't, mortals in the normal sense couldn't normally do. Like, for example, you can just straight up have an elemental breath weapon if you want to embrace your inner dragon, looking right at Neffy.
Why are you looking
there's
at me like that?
no reason. Don't worry about it. But then you also get stuff like Minor Wish, which is basically a feat drawn out over 10 levels, because you learn a cantrip, plus per short rest you can cast any first level spell from that class without requiring material components. And then at 10th level, you can cast any second level spell.
Mhm.
Then there's
Yeah,
Healing Touch, Protecting Aura, Terrifying Outburst, Take Flight, Whirlwind of Power, Erupting Stomp, Imbue Weapon. You can go, oh, my bludgeoning's doing jack shit. One moment. And just go from there. It's a really interesting idea. And sure, it opens up the potential for a lot of like, oh, I am the super awesome mega OC don't steal stuff. But that also opens up where the DM can look at you and go, that's cool. By the way, that's your parents, so good luck with that.
I hate to be that person, but I also love the inclination of your story. How did you meet? Well, once my mom was a human, my dad was a unicorn, and stop right there. I don't think I want to know.
I mean,
And it gets even better because in the second sentence, it says, due to the nature of this racial lineage, Mythkid tend to be rare. There's also the possibility that more than one entity contributed to the offspring, such as the crossbreeds of draconic fiends or celestial giants are entirely possible. My mom was a celestial, my dad was a dragon. It was a very interesting time.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
My
But,
mother
so
was a dragon. My father was a very brave tiefling.
my mother was a dragon. My dad was a tiefling. I called him the Mountain Eater.
so we're moving on.
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna get through the rest of the races pretty quickly because we know that the more important part is what the classes can do. Races are fine, but they're more for
Yeah.
flavor and background and some minor thing.
Oh,
But-
don't worry. We still have the lineages to get through, and Neko gave a great hint to what they're gonna be.
Oh boy.
What the fuck
Yep.
is Zekubus? Oh, this Zekubus looks cool.
All right, so Zekubus is the next one on the list. Born of the mating between temptation demons and more. Oh dear God.
I mean,
So Bunzi, this is
It's a
Bunzi.
temptation demon.
Bun Bun. Yeah,
This is fun.
this is straight up Bun Bun.
And it's different from a tiefling, actually, because it's not just saying, oh, it's a human and whatnot. No, it's a
It's a
temptation demon and a mortal, which is fascinating because right away with the artwork, sure, pink skin, oh, so stereotypical. But then you think about it for a moment. Wait a minute.
Those are
Tieflings are
fairy
known.
wings.
Yeah. So that means a demon went with it with a fairy and made that thing.
He went wild in the face.
And we actually can
There you
show
go.
we can actually show what those look like because this one's
Yeah.
actually more modest. But
It is really nice.
yeah,
Ah, it
This
has
is just
cleavage.
yeah. This is just legitimately
It has
beautiful artwork.
cleavage.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll just
It
put it
is, but
right.
it has cleavage.
No,
Alright.
no. That's just the dress. Right.
Yep, it's just the dress.
It's just the dress.
Yep, just
Yeah.
the dress. Don't worry about it.
So this is a question I want to propose to Bun Bun. Bun Bun, if you're there, this is basically like sort of what your model is based on. Would you want to play a character like this at one point? Boy, I wish I had that
Man,
crickets.
crickets.
Yeah, I was about to say I wish I had that cricket sound effect.
Crickets are so loud.
Okay, well then, we're just gonna ask that. We'll just ask that question another time. But yeah, no, I like this. I also like the fact that it has a, it looks nice. It kind of reminds me of like a demon from Shin Megami Tensei. It also looks like it's got fairy wings. It can, exploit the weaknesses. And oh dear God, we're at the lineages already. Oh boy.
Yeah. Just one quick thing, just really quickly before we go there. And this is something that I respect about this is something that you'll find with this book, that it respects its creations. Because sure, a mix between a temptation demon and a mortal, you would not be alone in thinking, oh, this is just a stripper, oh, this is just a hooker, etc., etc. But no, It actually says in the first paragraph, some societies hold those of the Zecubus bloodline in the highest regard, for their talents make them proficient in maneuvering social landscapes. Others find this unsettling and are untrusting of them, as it can be hard to tell if one is being manipulated. I find that so fascinating that they actually give respect and aren't just, this is the horny demon class.
Because it's not just horny demons. It's basically like you can use charisma and seduction in many ways, like with money, power, food, sex, learning, anything that is desirable you can use. So if you have conversations, you can be a pleasant conversationist to have. But I'm also gonna head out because I am not feeling great.
God.
Oh,
You're
okay.
you're starting to fade.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not that. It's just my leg is killing me a little bit.
All right.
No
See you
worries.
guys in a little bit.
Take care.
Take
Go
care.
get it checked out.
Fight on,
Yeah.
warrior.
And now we move on to the lineages, which are
Well,
The
now this is interesting.
welcome to the Omegaverse, everybody.
I am well acquainted with it.
Well, then I'm gonna let Neffy, Cross, and Chitter take the helm on this one, because I don't know shit. And I proudly
Oh.
stand by that sentence, I don't know shit.
Who wants to start?
Neffy, you go right ahead.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, so
Don't
Neffy,
worry.
Okay.
We will be supporting you from a far distance.
What? Get your ass over here!
Alright. So I'm gonna propose a question to the three people who actually know what they're talking about. Tell me, what is Alpha and Omega lineages in terms of the book?
Chitter.
Okay. I'm just going to come out and say this. It actually treats it respectfully.
Yeah, but what is
Because yeah, I'm throwing that out there just to start. Basically, the Alpha and the Omega, I don't want to say it's a dom and a sub, because that's not wholly accurate. It's the best description that I can have is the Alpha of a pack, while the Omegas follow.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
kind of
about
like
the most?
kind of like a wolf pack. It's often compared to like a wolf pack in some cases.
Yeah. And that's very well shown within the traits, because while the ability scores, the age, the alignment, even, I love that they didn't force an alignment on these, which is awesome. The size, the speed, and like the mortal heritage is kind of there. But then you get these different features, such as greater potential for the alpha, because alphas are generally seen as the stronger ones, where when you approve an ability score by gaining a level, you may choose to raise 3 different ability scores by 1 point, in addition to the normal choices, and the maximum value of your ability scores is increased by 2.
I think we lost Bundhiem.
Command the
Yep.
yeah. Commanding the pack. So it's showing that you naturally take a position of leadership, but that's also not just giving it as a feature. It's saying, hey, you can use the help action as a bonus action, and if the creature uses the advantage given by this help action to attack a creature within 5 feet of you, they gain an additional D4 on their attack roll, so they get a bless on. It's teaching you as the player, yes, you are stronger, but you want people around you. Whereas the Omega is kind of on the opposite side. When another creature uses an effect that protects by imposing disadvantage on attack rolls, increasing your armor class, or giving you a bonus, you gain an additional +1 bonus to your armor class and saving throws until the end of that creature's next turn, which is so fascinating. And then there's the thing that's the most. I won't say it's controversial. It's complicated when people don't know what the fuck to do with it. And that is a soul bond, which is basically your bonding yourself to an alpha. And it's a permanent bond, and you can't form another bond with another alpha unless you're doing the optional role poly bonding, but I'll get to that when we get to that. And you are always considered charmed by your bond mate, which is fascinating. That is that sounds really bad, but you can't. Charm in 5e means that you cannot attack or become aggressive to the person you're charmed by. And that is fascinating because that says to you that basically this person you trust so much that they could attack you and you wouldn't be able to do anything to them. And then, of course, there's the additional effects that you get by spending a single hit die, which is basically you saying, I'm going to help you through our bond and whatnot. But so that I find is really interesting. And it's very respectful of what it is. And then, of course, there's the optional rules, which is basically the competitive bond. So basically, after an initial soul bond is set by the Omega, this is basically the Alpha going, I don't want you with that person. You're mine. Which, that leads itself to some interesting moments, because the fact that it's being opted as a neutral thing means that there could be instances where that consent is given for that. Or polybonding, where an Omega may form a soul bond with a number of creatures equal to its charisma modifier, where it's still able to only affect one creature when it finishes a short or long rest, regardless of how many they're bonded to. But that's an Omega going, I am super charismatic and I can take on more than one person. Which is probably why you aren't seeing many Barbarian Omegas doing that.
So if I may break the explanation real quick, Neffy, feel free to not have to answer this if you don't want to, but I do want to get your perspective on it. Do you feel like this book is treating the subject of this respectfully as someone who is more aware of it, or who might have some more knowledge of it?
Very respectfully. I feel like it's expanding on the subject as well. Just like Chitter said.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Like, just as someone who doesn't have a whole lot of knowledge about it, or any knowledge, or didn't really know much about this before we started this.
You want to look it up on your spare time?
I don't know if I should. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think doing that's gonna give me a good search history. So
just open an incognito tab. You'll be fine.
I don't think I'm gonna do that. But I do like it. Feels like at the very least they're treating it with both. But it does also feel like it can give certain players a very odd kind of story beat if they are forming these types of bonds. Because just to give you an example of it in popular culture, if you play League of Legends, you know about Rakan and Zara from League of Legends. Those two are basically, connected at the hip. And they work better together than they do apart. I do think it's basically kind of like that, but maybe in a little bit more of an NC-17 fashion than what League of Legends gets away with.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're not. You're not the. You're not exactly far off with that. Also, bot in chat. Thank you. Yeah. The fact is that these bonds that are being formed, at least in like game mechanics, is a way of showing that those people in the bond are making each other stronger and better for it. So yeah, it's less it's focusing on that bonding theme in the overall kink of Omegaverse and everything. Like most people know of Omegaverse as this very, very weird and out there concept, but this book is taking this very seriously. It's like, no, the whole reason why it was formed was to explore this kind of dynamic. So that's what we're going to focus on with presenting it as game mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well done, and I respect the book for not making a mockery of it, because it would have been very easy to.
Yeah.
And I think and I guess that's pretty much a good idea to establish that. It looks like also there is some 1 second.
What's up?
Sorry, for some reason the my dog's just acting up. I had to stop him. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So it looks like these two are just basically like different types of traits, but I do like the fact that it doesn't feel like one's more overpowered than the other. It feels like they both have their skills and benefits, just in different but subtle ways, which is good for a DM and a player. That's really all I can talk about with this, because I sure as shit don't know anything about the lore behind this, so I'm not going to pretend to.
Don't worry about it.
Good, I expect so. Anyway, we still got a ton to go through, so let's go on to the next part, the Unifiend, or the Unified, or whatever the fuck this is. I have no idea. But let's see what this says.
Unified.
Oh.
This, I'm just going to come out and say this.
Mm-hmm.
If I was making the character that I play in our current campaign, I would beg you for this lineage. And there is a reason for that.
Elaborate.
This is the basically, you are a part of a broken hive mind.
Oh, I know what you're on about. Oh, we discussed this.
Yeah, this lineage is, as it says in the very first sentence, historically and mythologically, the Unified are the hardy, hive-minded soldiers who ran amok under the direction of Hannesine Kyo during the War of Unification. While the ultimate defeat of Hannesine freed the Unified, the curse that bound them was not uniformly broken. To this day, the curse is passed down intermittently and manifests as a child becomes of age. Physically, they can be whatever they want to be. However, much like their ancestors, they bear an arcane scar around their throat, which appears as a tattooed runic collar. Psychologically, a unified creature no longer operates under the control of any other creature, for part of the curse was broken when Hannesine vanished. They do retain a nascent fraction of the telepathic communication and physical endurance once bestowed by the curse. There exists a common fear, otherwise known as a story hook, that the unified curse was only the first step in a larger scheme by Hannesine's masters. The unified have been the righteous hand of tyranny and enslavement. Still, there are others who recognize that the unified are not responsible for their misdeeds, that ultimately they were just as much victims as any others in the War of Unification. They deserved help to understand their true nature, which basically says that these people are basically just, they're from a broken hive mind. You have the limited telepathy of speaking with others, knowing roughly what they'll do when they're nearby. And if you have like another unified creature adjacent to you, you can form a piece of that hive mind with shared pain. When damage is dealt to a bonded creature, it may split that damage among all bonded creatures. Any damage unable to be split evenly dealt to the primary target or randomly for area of effect spells. Shared experience. When a bonded creature gains either pain or pleasure, they may have that bonded creature gain that instead of them. And then shared fate. While any of the bonded creatures have more than 0 hit points, all bonded creatures have advantage on their saving throws. However, that's that shared fate where if any of them are dead, all of them have disadvantage on saving throws. The bond lasts for 24 hours or until one or more of the bonded creatures are on a different plane of existence. This is that hive mind that's trying to form again, trying to live on. And that's so fascinating because I myself have made a character who is part of a broken hive mind. Like they got put into the hive mind, but they were still part of it ever so slightly. And this would be a fascinating way, just not just for the unified, but if you brought this outside of this book, that's a fascinating way to show a hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it definitely sounds like a very interesting trait. I will say this. I kind of would like to see some of this be played out a little bit more. I guess given how our current campaign is going, your character does fall under this category, so maybe we'll figure out some way to implement a non-sexy version of it. Okay, we're not going to be talking about... All right, so I'm going to be honest. We're not going to be talking about backgrounds because...
there is one background that I would like to talk about, and this is particularly important for everyone, and that is the curious explorer background.
This one.
Yes. So basically, your character comes from the isolated continent of Fragile. You have journeyed away from your homeland, and of course, a lot of people are going, "Well, that just sounds like a far traveler." Not exactly.
Well, I mean,
If I chitter, I don't mean to interrupt, but would it be
Sorry.
okay if I took it? Would it be okay if I took this one?
Sure, go ahead.
Absolutely, go right ahead. My apologies.
So the long and short of this is that the continent of Rigel is presented in this book as something that's separate from the rest of the world of Bundhiem, and Bundhiem has a lot of kink stuff built into its society. Rigel is presented as a standard classic D&D fantasy setting. So the idea behind a Curious Explorer is that you're leaving behind the typical world that most people know and stepping into this other world that is very, very different and has a lot to explore and learn about, and it's all in the realm of kink. So this you get to play somebody who is discovering all of these different aspects and find what works for them. That's a curious part. You're not just thrown in there as like, oh well, I guess this is my life now. No, you're choosing to go into it, and in that choosing, you're learning not only what each of these different things are, but you're learning what fits best for you. What's cool, the way they present that is that if you choose this background, it forcefully locks you out of picking one of the subclasses in the book, because, well, from where you were growing up, you didn't know about any of this, so how could you pick it?
Mhm.
So yeah, so only with enough downtime tied to like what level you are, can you then train into a certain class or subclass.
Mhm.
So it's already creating a character arc for you. and that you're going depending on what happens throughout the campaign, you're going to find things that may vibe with you and things that might not. But whatever does, you'll then be able to go, oh, okay, this is what I feel an affinity with. I'm going to delve deeper into this idea to find out more about it and myself. So, yeah, I had a character concept. I've been bouncing back and forth with Chitter for a while, where I was gonna do this, because this is something that I myself find I'm doing just by looking through this book. Like, yes, I know about a lot of these different like aspects of kink and everything, but not so much of I have little experience, so I don't really know like too much about it like in depth. So I'll be able to explore that with a character background like this.
I kind of like that idea, and that's actually a good segue into the meat and potatoes of the book. But before we dive into the classes, I gotta say, I feel like it's a good way to at least have someone who's like, you know, for a character moment to have them like, oh, I don't know how I feel about some of these things, but at least I want to like get involved and play the game. So like having like the little cartoon. By the way, I just now realized the sun has a ball gag in its mouth. And there's an S&M shop right here, and there's a guy getting whipped, and then there's there's Chitter in the corner over here with the spiders, and then there's a leash, and oh no, I just now realized what was over there in the corner. So we're gonna have to scroll this down a little bit more.
Yeah,
Whoopsie! Oh no! Oh, we can't have that on the screen, not anymore. Whoops! We're just gonna scoot on by. Not talk about the cows.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh.
All right, I can't even scroll. Oh god, I'm gonna have to delist this VOD immediately after we're done.
Also, what was right above the knight's head?
No.
No, we're not going back and checking. I'll check. Let me check real quick.
I'm looking at it.
We can't show it. Oh, we can't show any of this. No. No.
Very intently.
We're gonna
page 104. Hey, look, that's where the classes start.
Okay, good idea. Hey, look, let's go to that one. Let's go to that number next. That seems like a good. Let's see if let's scroll on by 100. Okay, we have Chitter in a maid outfit on page 102.
Oh, shut up.
I don't know if this is a good session, if this is a good video, or I'm screwing myself in more ways than one.
This is a session?
No, it's not a session. I don't know, nephew. At this point, I'm trying to salvage the night.
Don't worry, this session is going to be very intimate.
Oh. Okay, I believe you.
Okay, I believe you. Jump into line.
Right.
All right. So we're gonna start with the subclasses now, and this is where we're gonna be spending the most of the. I'm gonna just read some of these names because half of these are fucking funny as hell. And guys, I swear to God, this is all 100% true subclasses. So for Barbarian, we have Path of the Red, Path of Terror, and Path of the Titan. Now, I don't know which one is the newest one for this one, but I know what Path of the Titan and Path of Terror are. Titans, when you basically are like grow to superhuman strength. It's something they're actually including in Baldur's Gate 3. Path of Terror, I think, is... Yeah, basically. I think Path of Terror is like using intimidation, and I think I know what Path of the Red is, but I'm not going to assume until we get to that point. Path of Bard. Okay, can I just read everyone? This is the one I want to talk about the most, the Bards ones, because we all know I love to make fun of Bards. But here's the name. Awesome. Yeah, Bards are awesome, but they also are open to a lot of jokes. But I want everyone to listen to the new Bard subclasses. We have the College of Brats, the College of Sirens, and the College of Warmth. Now, I don't know what College of Warmth is. I don't know what the College of Warmth is, but I know what the College of Brat is going to be about. That much is for certain. I swear to God, I gotta show Ruin this and just like, Ruin, you gotta play this.
Oh, Ruin would love this book.
Oh
my
yeah, I'm just gonna
goodness.
send it to them and not give them any context.
Yeah,
Then-
just send it to him.
So, so for clerics, we have Exorcist Domain and Peril Domain. Standard stuff. That's not too different. Circle of the Lamb for the Druid. Circle of Pollen for the Druid. Circle of the Tamer for the Druid. Wasn't it the College of Brats?
Ooh.
Wasn't it the College of Brats shtick? I think the Druids are stealing from the Bards again. These.
Moving on.
The Druids are the brat tamers. I love that.
Yeah, you need to have two different sides to it. The bard is the sub in that relationship.
I think Garson.exe has stopped responding.
I think he just blew.
All right.
I mean, to be fair, in our party alone, the Rakdos are the brats in the party, while the Druids are definitely the ones in charge.
There's so many fucking Druids in our party.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if this is a new class entirely, but the Escapologist, which sounds like
yes.
That's a new class.
Okay.
It's right there on the right side of the page.
Where's Amicis? I would love if Amicis would be able to read this one. Fighter, we have the Dynamic Duelist and the Tormenting Hunter. For the Monk, we have Way of the Feather, Way of the Heel Breaker, and Way of the Wick. Okay, I swear to God, if the Monk gets a Candle subclass, I'm fucking... Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh my God, what is with this book?
Candle, there's a kink for that.
I know there's a kink for that. That one I'm aware of because I was... Garson in a maid outfit. We scrolled past Garson in a maid outfit. Anyway. All right, hold on. The Paladin. Now that one I'm actually kind of shocked about because Paladins are known to be like upright religious brigades, except for Oathbreakers. They get Oath of the Indomitable and Oath of the Sangreed.
Sagittarian.
Sagittarian.
Think of it, Sagittarius, the
horse.
Oh
yeah,
no.
The centaur thing.
All right, so for Rangers, we have the Whoreling Witch. Okay, just fucking... Wow, I know what that one's going to be. and
the Slinglash Conclave.
The hash slinging
Slasher. For Rogues, we have the Null Visage. We've actually talked about that one on the show previously. And then the Soul, and then the Stitcher. And then for the Sorcerer, we have the
Stitcher.
Yeah, I wonder what the Stitcher is actually. So for the
I'm curious about that too. What the fuck is a Stitcher?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. Sorcerer, we had the Sanguine Hex and the Soulfire. And
Soulfire sounds so cool.
Right?
I'm just going to come out and say this. Soulfire may not be all that you expect it to be. Not in terms of cool, but it is potentially very dangerous for you as a player.
Oh.
And then for Warlock, we have the Alabaster Warlock, the Construct Warlock, the Sublime Slithering Warlock.
Contract. Pronounce it right, damn it.
Whatever. Contract Warlock. Sublime Slithering. And then we have the Wizard School of... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And Scroll of Inscription.
So that first one is Dilemmaturgy, as in, a dilemma.
Oh, no. Anyway.
Oh, yes.
All right, so let's... So I guess we'll tackle the first new class that actually has two subclasses, and that's the Escapologist. I think it's pretty obvious what this is. This is an artificer who...
Nah.
No, I didn't cut out. I just realized what I said, and I had to stop for a second. I didn't say artificer. I didn't say artificer.
Wait a minute.
I didn't say artificer. I said artificer, and I was like, Jesus. Oh my God! I need a fucking moment.
I swear, if they make that into a class.
Oh, a nano hand. I was saving this for Comic-Con. Now I'll artifice you. This is slowly divulging from
What the-
This is slowly divulging from a well-respected talk about kinks to Carson laugh at silly words. Okay.
Now, what's fascinating about the Escapologist is that
Mhm.
sure, you have the rough idea of what it's going to be, but it's basically not just like escaping things in general. It's basically special because of the nature of Bundhiem. You specialized in lock picking, but you also specialize in unfastening even the most expert of knots and enduring the undurable, which
Doing a
no
Houdini.
Wait,
Doing a Houdini.
exact
wait. So you're telling me this is the Shibari class?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh god, where's Serenity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
What is Serenity? I'm right here.
now what's
Damn.
interesting is that it actually, even though you get like the usual 1d12 because you're really like constitutionally strong in a melee class, what makes it interesting is that this class actually makes you pick and choose your armor based on the type of character you want to be. Because sure, you get everyone knows about the disadvantage with stealth, the clang clang go the armor, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you choose a heavy armor set, which would be stereotypical, like you're taking the typical fighter route with this, you
Mhm.
reduce any damage you would take by an amount equal to your proficiency bonus, but you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws altogether. When you're wearing medium armor, you gain a new reaction where you can have the attack's damage against you and your movement speed increases by 5. And you don't have that disadvantage against dexterity saving throws. But you can't just reduce it by an amount equal. You have to use your reaction and have the attack's damage. The light is that you gain advantage on dexterity saving throws and your movement speed increases by 10 feet. But because you're wearing that light armor, you have disadvantage on con saves against acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage.
Mhm.
So it's not an upgrade for either one you pick. It's a side grade.
Well, that's always a good thing. I think side grades allow people to not have necessarily a meta style playthrough where you have to go that class or subclass combo to be an
Mhm.
adequate player. I think that's always a good thing. I also think, and this is just me speaking here, I do like the fact that this feels like more of a this feels like a, how do I put it delicately? I'm probably not, but this feels like someone I would want to play as in D&D just normal, where it's like a person who can get in and out of situations pretty easily. I think that's pretty cool. It's it's something that we don't have much. Obviously, we have rogues, but rogues are
I was
either
about to say.
rogues are obviously, the most common type, but their mission is meant to be like the sneaky stealth attackers to deal high damage. Lock picking and stealing is usually like secondary to them. They obviously can do it, but it's more like a byproduct of already having that high stealth to basically go behind enemy lines and stab someone really, really hard. Because, as we all know,
Yeah.
if you are unaware, the stabbing just manages to find that one spot where it just really, really hurts.
Oh, yeah. And what makes this so fascinating is that, sure, you have all these different abilities that are like getting out of a grapple or restrained automatically, or disengaging as a bonus action, or increased damage, or you may use your proficiency bonus when using an object that can feasibly fit into a lock to attempt to pick it. So basically, you're going, who needs a lock kit when I have my trusty pint-sized dildo?
Oh no, I've been
But
trapped. I'll need to break out of here. All I have is this lockpicking kit, these high-grade explosives, and of course, the trusty mini dildo. Well, naturally, we're going to use the first two, and you just see the guy already going over there with the dildo, and he's like, what was that? Oh no, I got the door open. Don't worry about it. I got this. Just gonna stick it in there and just break the lock.
yeah. And then with the versatile defense, if you have a particular type of armor, you gain an additional ability, meaning that you've spent time with this armor, getting to know it. And that's fascinating for a class because armor is generally just a grab it once and forget about it kind of thing. This is actively making you go, well, maybe I don't actually want that armor. Maybe I want to try something a bit different because I know that the ability that I have is going to be important later on.
I would think so. Basically, the other thing I like about the Escapologist, just basically what I'm seeing here, is that it's definitely it's different, but it's not super different. It feels like if I could basically say it like this. Imagine, if you will, like like if you're playing a game and you want to play a character that's specifically designed to be like break into the big bad guy's lair and open the doors to get everyone else inside. Like, obviously, the rogue would probably do that, but the rogue could also handle its own. This feels like I'm wearing armor that way. So like if something does happen to me, I'll be okay, but I know what my role is in the party, and I'm like, know that this is what I'm designed to do. And maybe, like, for some people, they don't like playing that way. I personally do, because I like having, like, specialization characters that, have their own idea, or their own identity, or their own, like, way that they want to play the game. Not necessarily, like, combat-wise, but just because they might be able to do something unique. And I think this is, like, opening up a venue that was previously locked behind just being the rogue. So that's my take on it.
And that actually leads beautifully into the first subclass, which is the guiding hand. And this one deals with, as you can see with the author's note, Garson, this is actually extremely important for right now, mentorship. And as it says, the pursuit of kinky activities requires a vast array of knowledge and skill sets, and beginning that pursuit is an often daunting idea. Thankfully, it is common in kink-related communities for people to mentor and teach those that are new. This can range from handing down physical skills such as rope work and anatomical knowledge to ensure safe practices, all the way to emotional support as the individual faces a slew of difficult and exciting topics. This is basically the mentor class.
Well, that's good.
That is... Sorry, my apologies.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, well, that's good.
Yeah. And it's fascinating because even at level 3, you can have this like, oh, I've been through a fair bit and I'm either holding back or I'm keeping pace with the party. And you can basically be like someone who just helps out in the worst cases situations. You let the party do their thing, but then when it comes time to where things are getting bad, that's when you step in and go, now what did we learn?
Never put the trusty dildo in the electric lock. And why do we not put the trusty dildo in the electric lock? It conducts electricity. There you go. You learned, you stupid boy.
Exactly. And like, for example, Mentor's Aid, when a creature or object adjacent to you grapples, incapacitates, paralyzes, restrains, or stuns a single other creature within 60 feet of you, you can make yourself that target and then go, you asshole, we're dealing with this later.
Wow.
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is very much a class for the people who are more experienced in kink or want to play an older character who has done things. I find it very fascinating.
I think I do too. Just because it feels like, again, there is, I would say, a way for everything to basically be treated with respect, but also it feels like those who know more would have the ability to explain more in a decent way of having the character basically, work in the narrative what the game's doing, basically.
Yeah. And then, of course, we come to Neffy's favorite image, the dude with wearing the demon mask and a whole lot of chains.
Hello.
Hi, Rakdos.
Oh,
Hello.
hi, Podge the Goblin. Bye, Podge the Goblin.
Yeah,
Hi, Garson getting demonetized.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, okay, so this is the Virtuoso Escapologist. So basically, this is the performing Escapologist, I'm guessing.
Houdini.
Yes. Yeah. This would be the one where if I were to ask Garson very, very nicely and show him the safe for work one and get the permission, this would be the class I would probably take. Because basically, you get additional stuff for breaking free, you get adept at hiding things, you can cast Mage Hand, Prestidigitation, and Thaumaturgy, with your Mage Hand always conjured invisible, and being able to do some unique things that a normal Mage Hand may not be able to do. You can teleport a little bit. Smoke and Mirrors is basically when you fail, you can teleport up to 30 feet away and become invisible. Infallible Skill is basically saying fuck you to the amount of your charisma modifier. I'm not taking that damage. And so it's very interesting. This is very much the stereotypical escapologist, where the other one was more of a mentor, knowing how to escape by trial. This one's knowing how to escape by performance.
That's interesting. And not only that, it also looks like you can conceal various things. Also looks like you have the ability to just in general, this feels like an escape artist class, which I think obviously we were talking about the escapologist, but this doesn't really feel like it has a lot to do with kink. It feels like just an actual class, or even
like pure entertainment.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. I think that's
Yeah.
So I think there's really not much we need to talk about that, because it looks like obviously even the stuff doesn't really fall into the kink unless I'm just not realizing what that is. But I do like the fact that just if you were to just take away the kink aspect of this book, this would probably work really well in like a base game.
From like a circus atmosphere.
Yes.
Yeah. That's I did make the joke Rakdos earlier, but this is a Rakdos class.
Yeah.
You even have the little devil mask and chains and tights.
Yeah.
And drowning.
And tights.
Yeah.
I like how you
And
emphasize
tights.
on the tights.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these tights.
Tighty
Come on.
tights.
Look at these tights. Like just the one checkered leg, the purple shorts just merge into the skin tight stuff. And anyway. Okay.
Moving on.
So this moves on to the next subclass I want to talk about. Now, for those of you who were not here yesterday, we briefly talked about a game mechanic that was unique to the Kinks and Cantrips book called Pleasure and Pain. Basically, long story short, it is a separate status that you track using your Constitution modifier, half of it to be precise. Basically, when you get, you can get certain points of pleasure and get certain points of pain. If you get 9 pleasure, you're basically stunned for a turn, and if you get pain too much, you get negative stat bonuses. So we're going to look at a class that actually features that, and that's going to be the Path of Red Barbarians. So it looks like the Barbarians typically are, I think they're just they use naughty thoughts for power, basically, because that's what I'm picking up here. It looks like they think of their most horny moments, and then it translates into what looks like frenzy. Now, obviously, this feels like, without knowing too much about it, and again, I reiterate that just because I want to be, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But based on what it looks like they're saying here, is for this version of the Barbarian, you use the remembering of certain aspects of feelings. Like, for example, if I'm reading Sensational Zeal here, you get to have a sensation table, and you get to roll what looks like a number of d4 equal to the difference at the end of each turn. Your sensation is equal to the
Okay.
total of your. Yeah, someone else explain if I got this wrong, but it looks like we take.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like sensation is equal to total current pleasure and pain added together. So it can equal up to about. I would say if you have like 18, it can equal up to about 9 for each one. You go to 18 for combined, and then yeah, it looks like it's various effects. So obviously, I'm probably not explaining it properly. So I'm gonna go back over to Chitter and Cross. What do you? How does this necessarily work?
Yeah.
Cross,
So
if you want.
yeah, I got this one. So a lot of the different things in this book will focus on either pleasure or pain. This is the one few instances where it takes both. The classic idea of the barbarian is that they take their emotions and use it to drive their superhuman feats. This is an expansion of that in taking the emotional surges that come from different bits of pleasure and pain. Those different sensations that go through the body, those adrenaline surges, they use that to fuel their power. So it takes both of whatever pleasure and pain you currently have together to get different effects. So with this subclass, you're incentivized to go into pleasurable and painful experiences as much as possible, because the more stuff you the more you have, the more benefits you have. So this is the thrill seeker. This is someone who is who was like, give me all of it. I'll take it. Yes, please, sir. May I have another? Yeah.
Walks away.
But here's the thing, and this is something that's very important, and this is where we get into the fantasy side of it. This is a frenzy, and this in real life can be very dangerous
Mhm.
because you may not know your limits and when to stop. Because, for example, and this is kind of reflected in that character, because if your sensation ever exceeds your constitution score, not just the modifier, the score. So you must roll a number of d4 equal to the difference at the end of each of your turns and suffer necrotic damage equal to the result. Your hit point maximum is reduced by the same amount of damage taken from this effect, returning to normal after you complete a long rest. So if you are taking too much, you're going to pay for it. Sure, you get really cool sensations. Like, for example, Wanton Fever. Each time you hit with a melee attack, you deal bonus necrotic damage equal to half your sensation. Or Overwhelmed Senses. You're immune to being charmed, frightened, paralyzed, or stunned, which is basically a rage for free. But the thing is that each turn, if you're sitting at even a con score of 18, 19, you're still rolling a d4. You're overexerting yourself. And the thing is that sure, you get the don't stop feature, which is you may choose to automatically allow the attack to hit or fail the saving throw. If you do so, you gain pain equal to the damage dealt, yada yada yada. And won't stop is basically saying to like the chastity angel, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. But I respect that in a frenzy, the last feature you get is finally knowing your limits, knowing when to stop. Because if you utter a singular word of power, choose a word when you gain this feature. It is essentially a safe word feature, where basically you remove all pleasure and pain from yourself, you end all conditions, and you are transported into a demi-plane for return from the demi-plane at the end of your next turn, reappearing in the space you left. Which is basically you saying, I'm done for right now. And I love that it takes the frenzy seriously by giving that at the end.
Mhm.
As someone who has done a lot of kink play, frenzy is something that is very easy to get into and very difficult to get out of.
So,
And
yeah.
it's not something that you hear of a lot, but it's a very terrifying feeling where you're not fully in control of yourself and you need help from someone getting down from that.
I think that's actually kind of a nice way to summarize it. And I do like your interpretation of it. Uh, I'm going to say that this was very different than what I assumed this would be. So let's leave it at that and don't ask any questions as we move
Fair
on.
enough.
Yes, exactly. Because I know Chitter's probably wanting to ask.
Don't worry, it's all good.
Okay, I'll tell you what it was after it. But on to the next barbarian subclass, because it looks like this is kind of an interesting take on barbarians. It looks like it's more of a shamanic barbarian, as the artwork basically shows that it's tapping into more like into those memories from the past and tapping into how it would feel. But it's definitely like using the meditation aspect of it. It's using an emotional range that barbarians normally don't have access to. As we all know, barbarians are typically known to want to go for raging and smashing and stomping and basically just all around hurting things more than actually than using it. So it's nice to see that this is the barbarian fueled by the power of horny, which is which is a fun take. I'm not gonna lie, I like that. This is also moving on to the next one, which
The hornier I feel, the stronger I get.
The horny, you can't stop me. My horny cannot be contained. Ah!
Path of the Gooner.
Yeah, that was.
Stop it.
Anyway, God damn it, Chitter.
Please, D&D lords, please make that a thing.
Okay.
Path of the Gooner.
So, speaking of a different take on a barbarian's emotions, we're going to look at the Path of Terror Barbarian, and I kind of see what this one is. Unlike normal barbarians that feature anger, and the Path of the Red Barbarian, which uses pain and pleasure to fuel its super form in terms of frenzy, Path of the Terror seems to focus on something else. It utilizes the expertise of being afraid of something and uses that to fuel its rages, which again is another take on a barbarian we normally don't get. This one is like, this one feels more like, I don't know if it's like raging at this point, because rage and fear are like, yeah, the trigger. Yeah, but it's like, rage and fear are two different sides of the emotional spectrum. You really can't have you can't be mad and afraid at the same time, because no, it's impossible. Yeah, it's like, I don't know why I'm afraid and angry at the same time, because you can be angry and afraid possibly, but you can't be like raging and afraid, because rage means you're going to take action, and being afraid is basically the inaction of being of that. So it's very, very, very like different, at least from what I'm seeing here. So but it looks like terrified rage. This is just where I think it's automatically where the weird stuff comes into.
I feel like it's taking like fight or flight seriously, but instead of fight or flight, it's fight and flight at the same time.
Yeah, I think that actually, because look, even the next ability on there is fight or flight. So it is like using the mindset of you are
fuck, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. And that's why you bravely run away from the terror. But if you have to fight, it's like, it's the Shaggy class. This is the Shaggy class where I'm afraid of everything. I still gotta act. Like, this would be Ultra Instinct Shaggy right here, personified.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
I don't know the better way to describe this. This is Ultra Instinct Shaggy personified in a D&D character.
No, you're right. You're right.
Here's a rather interesting thing about it, and this is coming from the author's note is very, very, very good at talking about this. Is that the thrill of terror can be its own aphrodisiac, and many kinks have branched off in the pursuit of crafting stuff to that end. Such are like edge play, where you're not in control of your own feeling, or peril play, where you're put into a scenario that's very dangerous. CNC kinks are huge for that, where you agree beforehand that within the scene, you cannot stop unless you say a word specifically that is outside of that scene.
Mhm.
So you are not in control of what happens to your body. And asphyxiation, that is a very, very dangerous kink
Mhm.
because the normal the stereotypical way is for your hands to go around the throat and press your palms in the center. Where to get the most effect, you want to push on the sides, which is safer. It's not safe, it's safer. And this path plays into that, where yes, you become frightened during your rage and you don't suffer the normal penalties and you're able to move closer, but you still have that frightened condition. So if an ability goes off, where I swear there's some abilities that use the frightened ability to move into their next phase, you still get under that. You are still under that effect, and that second effect is going to go off even though you can still move and fight technically.
Mhm.
And I love that.
So
And that
it's by its nature, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage for some other kind of benefit. It's another risk reward thing.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
love gambling in this house.
Obviously, yes.
Mhm. And isn't that so fitting on a meta level that the subclass all about inspired by taking the excitement of being afraid of, oh, I'm going to put another debuff on myself for this other potential benefit for myself.
I'm
It's very
scaroused.
fitting.
I'm scaroused.
I'm scaroused.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you
It's
just see,
what this is.
and then you just see them running away. It's like, dude, why are you running with a boner? Why do you not have a boner? It's like I don't understand. I'm simply running away. Bitch, I can see everything. You're a barbarian. You're
Points to the big scary snake lady monster. I'm like,
I-
all right, fair.
You know what? You know what? You know what? I'm gonna say this, and this is a bit of an off topic. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. It's a bit of an off topic, but I kind of want to see Karlach have this class in Baldur's Gate 3.
That would be cool.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Like,
And actually, going into what you said about the debuffs, the last feature is terrifying when you think about it,
Mhm.
because you
Ooh.
have learned to harness your fear while being in mortal danger, and you're probably, and of course most people think like, oh, just a high level class. No, while you are frightened, so you still have that frightened on you. For every 10 hit points you are missing below half of your maximum, you gain a +1 bonus to attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. For example, if you have a max HP of 120 and you're currently at 40, the bonus would be +2. The closer you are to death, the better you are.
that is a never a good thing you
So
want to have
this
your
is the
players
tank
at.
class.
Yeah, but
This is the tank that doesn't want to be at full health.
well, that's a dangerous prospect to
Oh.
have your players at, because, like, let's be fair here. The party is known to get themselves hurt in just the stupidest ways possible. So you can have my party included. I'm looking at you guys in the rock, and you guys getting punked by a rock.
Anyways.
Shut up about the rock.
But my point is,
Fiddly tea.
the fact is that if you have someone who's like a meta gamer, they're typically going to want to have their character hurt. So they're like, okay, we're going to be going into a boss fight real soon. Punch me in the face. What?
Yeah.
I'm only strong when I'm near death. I need you all to punch me in the face. I'll tell you when to stop.
Oh my god, wait, no, I just realized I've seen something similar to this in anime as well. The Saiyan's whole concept.
Oh no, you're right. Except for
They get stronger when they're close to death.
the only difference.
Oh my.
You know what?
fucking
The only
goodness.
thing is just take away the fear and just replace that with thirst for battle, and then this is the Saiyan.
This is Saiyan.
Which I think is kind of cool. I just don't. Me personally, I'm not a fan of this class. If only because the fact is, can be used. You can break this class so easily by having your party beat the fuck out of you before a boss fight or a big fight, and then it just feels like it trivializes the fight.
But then you take but then you kind of lead yourself to, hey, yeah, I have all of this, but if I get hit by a fireball, I'm still fucked.
I'm dead.
So let's move on to the last of the Barbarians' new subclasses in this book.
I will just say, do not go to page 113.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
Let me
That's
let me just take this off
We
real
don't
quick and
do
see
the
what we're.
V word here.
Oh, no, this
We
isn't. This
don't do
isn't.
the V word.
Okay. Well, we can't show that for sure. El Horno on
you
mains.
people
Thank
like it.
you for that, hero. Okay, we can't show that one, obviously. But we will describe it to you, which we are legally allowed to do. The image in question that we are not allowed to show you is a giant muscle-bound tiefling with a normal-sized hero in her hand, and it looks like she's about ready to eat them. This is the Vor Titan. This is like the Vor Barbarian. So
Not even just that. It's also size difference.
yeah, or muscle mommy. We could potentially go with that because it just based on the artwork.
Everything.
So yeah. So we can't show any of that. We're just gonna briefly go over this one because we A, have a bunch of other classes to go over, and B, I don't want to show. I can't show you the abilities. I can't show you the I can't show you the skills. I can't even show you pretty much anything because there's one massive glaring red titty that is right there on the page, and I can't show you that because I can't show any of that because of the titty. The titty is preventing me from showing it, but I'm allowed to talk about the titty. So if you do buy the book, link in the description and the video, you can watch it there, and you'll get an idea what we're talking about. But in very quick terms, this seems like the Barbarian that's designed to do one thing. You get bigger, and it looks like
Bigger
you may...
and stronger.
Bigger and stronger, obviously, and then you may or may not do this, depending on how you want to play the character. You can eat someone.
Whole. No
Yes.
chewing.
Yeah. Basically, that's exactly it. You become absolutely gigantic. You exert your power over a particular enemy and just straight up swallow them.
Yes.
And then you can become even bigger. And I'm just gonna come out and say this. Depending on what level that tiefling is, that dude may or may not be completely and utterly boned because
I think this is the enormous physique 14th level one because there's no other way to describe what's happening in this art that once again we would love to show you, but copyright and or terms of service prevent us from showing the massive red titty. And that is the only reason we can't show you it, because of that one massive titty. And I don't have any way to censor it either. Otherwise I would just put that there.
yeah. But basically, yeah, sure. I just ate this person. I'm gonna get out with my sword. Oh wait, this stomach is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical sources. Well, it's been a good life. Not how I thought I would go, but
Can I just
as
I just want to add one more thing to this.
Yeah.
Ever since Baldur's Gate 3, and again, I hate to bring this up, but Karlach has been the #1 tiefling I can't think of another tiefling that has been more popular than Karlach. And just looking at the picture right here,
They
There you
took
go.
some inspiration.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's just fucking Karlach with long hair and 2 horns. But like, obviously, I like Karlach with short hair. But my point is that like the fact is we can definitely see that this is a very interesting subclass. I like the idea of a barbarian growing to giant height and beating the shit out of big bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then being able to eat them.
I wouldn't go that far, but you know what? You're allowed to.
To be fair, that aspect is only just one class feature. The vast majority of this subclass is all about becoming this big, giant, smash everything monster. And yeah, that sounds metal as all hell. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, no, like everything else I love, just not the
Yeah.
eating part, and that's fine. And like,
Right.
and I think like if I took away that part, I would actually be fine having this in the campaign. Granted, we would have to have like some reason as to why it happened, but I like it. It's a good idea and a good class, and I wish I could show you guys more. I can show you this much because I'm just having the leg in here, but there's about as much as we're willing to risk it at this point. But obviously, so my rating is this. If I were to look at all 3 of the barbarian subclasses, I kind of like the red. I like the Titan, and the one I don't like as much is the fear one. But they're all really good subclasses. They all have their benefits and cool ideas. And honestly, even if you take the kink aspect out of it, they obviously feel like they could fit in a traditional player's guide.
D&D, yeah, they could fit in a regular D&D world.
Okay, so now let's go on to the College of Brats.
So Bun Bun.
There we go.
Yeah. Now this one we can show. Well, we're gonna start with the artwork, and if you look closely at this book, Clash, you'll notice a Yeti giving a bard a spanking because he was a naughty boy, a very naughty boy, and he tried to seduce the Yeti, and he did not like that. So now he's getting a spanking, and maybe the tiefling likes this, and that's all I know. That's all I'm willing to mention.
That's a satyr.
It is a satyr.
So it is.
Yeah.
He's got
furry legs, and I was
He's
like,
got the
wait a
furry
minute.
legs.
So, obviously, this is meant to be the brat subclass. For those of you who don't know what that is,
Yo, really? College of Brats is meant to be a brat?
well, that's like 90% of my friend group.
Ah.
Is that they're all brats and people and bratdom, and then obviously I'm just gonna showcase this artwork on Twitter later and just mention it because like I kind of have to, and just put College of Brats, no explanation, mind you, just the art and that tagline, and see what happens. But I digress. So, Brats. Interesting enough, it looks like this one was basically trying to make a really fucking annoying bard. That would be the best way I can describe this class. This is the annoying, shitty, cocky, cheeky little bard that, you know, casts like vicious mockery. He likes to give out naughty things. Stanley Shortheld. Let's be fair. This is Stanley Shortheld from Vox Machina. If he wasn't a normal bard, this would be Stanlin. Up and down every day of the week.
I still need to watch Vox Machina.
It's really good, but that would be my guess. Chitter Cross, why don't you dive in a little bit more and give us some more of an in-depth look at this?
So the idea behind this is that this is kind of a, if I could say it, this is like a tanky bard, because the whole point is that you're trying to get the attention of a monster so that it focuses on you, and its later features helps you be more defensive against said monster's attacks. You could increase your armor class or gain, or actually just straight up regain bardic inspiration just from monsters attacking you. Or it gives you pleasure and pain points, which you could use for other things. So yeah, the idea of saying, hey, look at me, I'm such a bother, Yeah, that's a way where you're supporting your party. You're you're being the tank.
Either that or the distraction.
It's distraction, yeah.
Yeah, but not like a normal distraction. This is a... You clearly know what you're doing with this type of distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I particularly like this one because there's a saying among parties where the charisma classes are the face of the party. This kind of flips that on its head, where sure, they could be the face of the party, but you sure as shit ain't gonna pull them out in situations where you need them to be nice to people. And this kind of puts like an air of, hey, you're really great at pissing people off. Please keep doing that, and please stay away from the ones who don't want to be pissed off. So it basically puts you in a situation where sure, you're playing a charisma class, but you're not the star all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this reminds me of, and I think this is kind of the best way to describe it. This is probably I might go on a small tangent, but I was watching Dragon Ball Z Abridged earlier, and I was watching the Broly movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
For those of you who have not seen that one, what basically happens is the joke of that movie is the planet they land on to build New Vegeta is home to these like little shrimpy aliens who want to be.
Oh, I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about.
It's like,
Oh no.
what's our safe word? It was lost to time. And to me, that's what this is. It's you know what you are, you accept what you are, and you're more than and we accept you as who you are, but they're the guy who's gonna like, okay, there's no time. I have to go in there and draw their fire. How do you do that? You just see him like rip off his shirt and he's like walking in there. I must do what I am needed to do.
There you go.
But you are performing a role. You are like, it's not a lot of times those characters are played up for jokes. They are jokey characters that are meant to be like, I am better than
It's
I
a
am.
gag character.
Yeah, exactly. The gag is I'm gonna get my ass kicked because I didn't wait for the party. This one,
Zero
yeah.
again.
There's no time. I have to get in there and lube up. But this one, however, this is not that. This is a class that is specifically going to help the party by being the tank when no one else will be the tank. And surprisingly, it's in a class that is famous for being squishy.
Mm-hmm.
And and I like that. I like that it's helping a class that's known for being squishy. They're like, how do I put this delicately? When it comes to squishy characters, your wizards, your sorcerers, your they're squishy.
Sorcerers can be strong.
Yeah, they can be. They
Yeah.
can be strong, but they also are squishy. If a monk gets close enough and punches you in the throat, you're not going to be able to do much. My point is that those classes, they don't have anything like this. They are typically like, even though they do get to basically have their own role, they are known to be backline fighters. They're meant to be backline support. They're meant to take back shots. As we all know, when you're taking back shots on multiple occasions from behind, you're not going to have any way to protect yourself. In this time, if someone manages to get behind you and delivers a back shot to you, you're going to be perfectly able to not only take that shot, but also to receive the beating that will come from taking such a pounding in the form of a bard,
And
which is a
might
surprise.
feel pleasure about it.
Yes, exactly. And it's a surprise in that regard. Which I think, if you go to a table and you don't tell someone this is the bard you're playing, they're gonna be like, not only surprised, but they're also gonna really like the fact that it's probably gonna save the party one day from drawing that dragon's ire, because you just was like, what are you gonna do? Hit me right here, just taunt the shit out of them.
What are you gonna do? Blast fire at my face?
Yeah, and then and look at this, all
Yes.
the abilities fall under that. Like, for example, even the top, the capstone ability is cocky little shit.
Yep.
I love that.
So basically, if they fail to hit you, and you succeed on the saving throw or ability check, You regain 3 bardic inspiration. That basically be like, oh, you failed? Oh my. And then you basically start playing the lute again and give everyone more bonuses. I like this. I like this class a lot. I think it's
Go
really
nanny, nanny, boo, boo.
pretty much. I like this class a lot. I mean, granted, the outside of the where it comes from, I think this is a fun class. I think it's a good way to make it on a tank. And it doesn't feel out of place for a bard. Bards are meant to be like verbal fighters, so they are fighting.
Well,
Speaking
yeah,
of,
we're gonna get to verbal right now.
yeah, College of Sirens bard.
Well,
Great segue.
okay, so let's be fair here on this one. I'm gonna so basically just take everything I said about the College of Brats bard fighting with their words, and then let's just turn into someone who actually can fight with their words. Basically, I'm assuming
Yeah.
that that's what this is, based on just
Not
what.
exactly.
Yeah, not exactly.
Okay, so how about I?
This is
All right, why don't you guys explain it? Okay, I can't show that picture.
I love the dress
You know,
though.
yeah,
It's
it's
a
very
really
Nice.
it's a really cool outfit. Like legitimately, that's really neat. But
Like if it wasn't see through.
I mean,
Yeah.
all right. Look, everyone, there was there for 5 seconds. Everyone got to look at it. Why I can't explain it, but let me explain in detail why I can't show this image. I'm gonna have to cut this section out of. I'm gonna have to cut this section out of the video. So I can't show this one because once again, the nipples are out, and we can't have that. And it's very obvious they're nipples, among other things. But this is basically
It could
if
be stickers.
it could be. We're not gonna know.
this is
I'm
This
really
is-
gonna have
this-
to edit this one before we upload it. I don't. Oh
this
wow.
is the This is the Screamer class.
The what?
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go off of the author note of the fact of someone making noise in response to receiving pleasure or pain, just in kink in general. It is itself a form of kink play.
Mhm.
It's a form of feedback to whoever is giving those sensations, and you just draw a sense of satisfaction from that itself. Like, I'll say it this way: people don't look at lewd pictures or videos where both parties involved are absolutely quiet.
Mm-hmm.
There's always some noises happening. The audio aspect is an important factor.
Mm-hmm.
This plays into that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when we so as we look in, this is another subclass that takes pleasure or pain. It doesn't focus on one or the other. It could work with either. So it has a couple different things to use it. One that stands out to me is the empathetic connection, and that when the bard receives pleasure or pain points, it can add one of those core points to someone else nearby. So it's a transfer of it. So if you know that someone else in your party also does things with pleasure or pain points, you're helping them out. You're doing your bard thing. You're using your vocals to support them.
Yeah.
And also, that combined with the build Steam is basically as a bonus action, you may perform an act upon yourself or focus on one happening to you. And if you do so, you can expend one use of that bardic inspiration die and gain the rolled amount of either pleasure or pain. And it can't bring you above your maximum, and you won't need to make a saving throw if the result would have yielded a result more than your maximum. So you can build up to it, and combined with that empathetic connection, you can use your bardic inspiration to give someone pleasure or pain based on what they need.
So
There you go.
basically, this allows you to channel either of these new status effects into new players. Oh no, not new players, into other classes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I would assume anyone playing this is probably a new player, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this allows you to transfer those effects to another player without having to worry about outside factors that you can't control, which I think is a good thing. And I think if you're going to play a team that's designed around this, then yes, you probably would need to have someone like this, if only because there might be, like, in the middle of a fight, if you expunged everything, like, for pain and pleasure, this probably would be your effect generator, which some classes would need. And it also looks like they gain advantages on saving throws for Constitution, as long as it involves, as long as you have a point of pain or pleasure. And if you have five,
Which is really
easy. I'm assuming.
Yeah, you just use a bardic inspiration, and congratulations, you have Constitution advantage.
Which I think is a good thing.
It's really good.
Agreed.
Given that, given that the penalties of too much pain or pleasure is a Constitution save, having the advantage on those saves is great because you're gonna be getting a lot of those points with a subclass like this. So having a way to mitigate the potential drawback is very, very helpful.
And combining that with sensational inspiration, if you're deep into it and a creature can hear you while you have at least 3 points of either pleasure or pain, rolls that bardic inspiration die, they can add a bonus to that roll equal to what you have in pleasure or pain, to the maximum of your charisma modifier.
Okay.
So if you're going through it, they're going to be inspired by you going through it even more.
I'm good. Okay, I kind of understand that. It's keyword being kind of. But I do think that's not. But I think it's a really good ability to have. Not only that, like, there's no downside to any of this. Like, sometimes when you have classes like this that build up on a certain mechanic, they typically, I would say, have a negative aspect to it, in that they would, like, just give you an example. Like, obviously, if barbarians rage out and they don't deal damage, they not only lose the rage, but they can suffer damage. We don't have that with this particular class. There's only the ability to manipulate and have the effect go off, but other than that, it's not going to have a negative impact on, like, what you yourself are trying to do, which I think is a cool thing.
And I'm just going to come out and say it.
Oh,
sorry, if I may, just really quickly.
go ahead.
To be quite blunt, it doesn't need it, because the pain and pleasure from the outside source afterwards has that risk built into it. It doesn't need it.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with what I was about to say.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the fact that you can give yourself a huge surge of pleasure or pain with build steam means that you're going to be at a pretty high amount. So an enemy throwing even more at you can push you over your limit relatively easily. So there's a little bit you just need to be careful about. That's why you get the subclass gives you that advantage on Constitution later, because they realize, yeah, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be there at your peak a lot, so you want to be careful.
Okay.
And with Enchanting Overload, just as like the last little bit, that kind of ties into that, where it gives you that chance of, I finally know how to release this properly. And depending on pleasure and pain, you get different like effects outward.
Can't argue with that, especially because at the end of the day, that's there's no there's not, like I said, there's no downside to it. It allows you to explore and feel new things, and I think that's kind of cool. So, and speaking of experiencing new things, let's go on to the last bard class, the Estinian
I love this one.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna level with you guys right here. This just feels like the Estinian fangirl class. Otherwise, or the after. Is this the aftercare bard? Like,
Not aftercare. It says it in the
Gentle
corner.
Dom.
Yes. So when people think of the word domination, they think of someone using someone else as like a footstool or having the whip in
Yeah.
hand and everything. No, this is someone who will proclaim their ownership of you or their dominant status over you with love and care and affection. This is someone who will whisper in your ear just how amazing you are, and the sensations of being cherished to that degree. That's what gives the target of said affection so much new heights of power.
I
This
love Gentle Doms. They're so nice.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah. This kind of bard doesn't support the party. This kind of bard supports one person and supports them very effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You'll see on the next page, half the page is a set of what they call the devotions that instead of just doing the normal, I'm gonna give you bardic inspiration so you have an extra die roll. No, you focus for that one person to get one of these very, very specified effects and bonuses to have.
I gotta admit, like, some of them are pretty good. For example, giving something True Strike, giving something the ability rerolling damage rolls if they just are low, which helps a lot of spellcasters, especially if you like make it so magic missile can always hit for more than one, which is always a good thing.
Yep.
Looks like there are some that you have to be at certain high levels. Target creature, like for example, utterly infatuating display. So the Smolder from Enchanted.
Tangled.
Yeah, from Tangled. Sorry, Tangled. Enchanted's a different movie. Looks like I'll have to use the Smolder.
Flynn Rider. I love Flynn Rider.
And that's what it
So
is.
cool.
Target creature that you can see must make a charisma saving throw versus your spell saving DC. If they fail, subtract your charisma modifier from all attack rolls they make for the next minute. That's something Bunsworth would have done in our last campaign, where if he had access to this, oh dear God, he would have run this.
Your campaign would fall apart so quickly.
Looks like I'll have to.
You would have been more fucked than you already were.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't remind me. But
yes, the terrors of the Benui.
But like, okay, like let's be fair here. All of these are pretty interesting and a lot of good, but this class, it feels a little, I would say, narrow in what it can do. It's meant to single out one particular member of your party and give them a lot of buffs and support. Okay, not a bad thing. Obviously, support classes, we love them, we need them, we have to have them in the party. Now, you probably are not gonna, like, the question is, does this class supplement the loss of the party-wide buffs for the narrow buffs? And I would have to say, just based on some of the stuff you can do with the devotions, if you're willing to, if you got a game plan going on, then yes, this could in fact be a good trade-off if you can pull it off. And I would say that's probably a good call on this. But I still think this is the Estinian class.
The Estinian class.
I
You did
do
not
like
think.
this class, especially because just I've played my fair share of D&D, and Cross has been there for the fair share of it. There has been a lot of D&D where, especially in fights, you have the tank, the distance
healer, the
spellcasters.
DPS.
But they're all very specific and one person.
Mhm.
So if you're putting a lot of focus on, say, the tank, you don't need to worry about everyone else. And that singular focus can be that much better.
And not to mention, let's be fair here. Sometimes you just need to protect the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no problem. Like, I get that. You get that. There's no problem in that whatsoever. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So I would say that if I had to pick between the 3 bard classes, I think the brat one wins because I think it's funny. Oh shit! I scrolled up to. I scrolled up to.
You were gonna pick the brat one. I knew you were gonna pick the brat one.
I was.
Carson,
How did I know?
Carson is a brat confirmed.
I'm not hiding. I'm not denying, nor will I pretend that I don't think that is a funny class. The Siren one probably gets the most utility, and I think that would go at number 1, but the Brat one wins for me because I think it's funny.
I'd probably be the College of Warmth bard. That's so nice.
And
I'd have
that's a
to
good one
help.
too. I would say the College of Warmth bard would probably be, if you're willing to sacrifice, just in terms of gameplay, that you're willing to sacrifice group dynamic for more close stuff,
A
then
singular person.
that's probably a good thing too. So that's my view on it. I like both of these actually. So I would go with that, and then probably the college. So they're all pretty good classes and good subclasses. This then leads into the next more harder one to talk about, and that's the cleric. Clerics.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do not go to 119.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go to 119.
Do not.
Oh yeah, we cannot show that at all.
I'm gonna screenshot that. Save it for later.
Hey, yo.
I might have some inspiration.
Hey, yo. Okay.
I can't deny that, nor can I fight that. If you want to, fuck, I don't even know where. Okay, look, I'll be perfectly honest. When we got to this class, this was the class I was like, what does this do? Because let's be fair, clerics already do that, and then I scroll down, and it looks like it's the chastity fucking cleric. So
Yep.
That is exactly what it is.
Exactly what it is.
which, if you look at the fucking artwork, it doesn't match.
No. Think about it. Look carefully. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a lot that's exposed, but also everything that's important is covered. And covered by those specific gemstones.
You may
The
not look
cleric
at the nipples. The nipples are protected. It's like, okay.
Right? No. That's the whole point. The cleric has guarded themselves, has guarded their mind and all their sacred places, I will say, to ward off against those advances and creatures that would try to push against it. What's up?
Cross, I'm gonna use that.
So we're gonna go to the next page below to talk about the actual stats, which is obviously as a cleric you get access to channel divinity. It's just it's your standard bread and butter ability at this point, where you get to channel something depending on your where you study for your clerichood, I guess. Yeah. This one allows you to channel divinity to find prey. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying here, but like, I legitimately do not understand this class at all, because I get it and I don't. And then you wearing a chat. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Once again, folks, my knowledge is not good enough, so I will tap it out to the experts. Experts, would you clearly like to explain this to both me and everyone else? What is going on?
So, one thing that's on the page that we can't show, there's one feature called Defend Against Temptation, which gives you advantage on saving throws against being charmed by certain creatures, but also reduces the amount of pleasure points you get. So once again, chastity subclass. It's hindering against that. So this is the cleric who, instead of being support, this is Bundhiem's version of the war priest, where it's like, my purpose is to fight off against the evils of this land, and the
basically
evils of
beyond thoughts.
Yes, evils of this land are these creatures who will try to overwhelm people
Yes,
with pleasure.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
totally fine.
if I may, it's very interesting that the more you restrain yourself from feeling that pleasure, like with devotion of self, which basically it takes the defend against temptation to a whole new level, because not only do you have to wear that chastity belt, but you have to wear a gag which blocks the use of your mouth and a blindfold, but you gain blind sight, telepathy, no longer require the verbal component for spells, become immune to being charmed or frightened, and not just have advantage on saving throws with it, and you cannot gain pleasure, thus you cannot be overwhelmed. If you take that at like the peak of your pleasure, imagine like just you're fully immersed in your pleasure and then you just put on the gag and blindfold, you cannot be brought over. And that is insane. You are restraining yourself from losing it in that moment, as chastity is, to gain benefit.
So by containing the horny, we are able to control the person within, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
So there you go. The denial of pleasure it is in itself is a kink idea. So there we go.
I mean, that's fair, and that's true, and I can't really argue with that. And it looks like the whole kit is basically built around that. For example,
Yeah.
as we said before, you gain blind sight with your devotion of self, telepathy, so you don't even need to speak. You can just use your psionics, which honestly, as we all know, psionics are broken as hell. So it's true, and that's a good thing. I think it's, honestly, if I'm being honest, this is not a bad concept. It's a very good concept. I wish I could show you I wish I could show you exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to their artwork, but I cannot because obvious reasons. That's the best way to describe it. Obvious reasons, which is a bit painful, I'll admit. But I'll say this much: if you were to have more of a selfish class that doesn't really feel selfish, this would probably be a good way to describe it. It's
Absolutely.
yeah. It feels like the very definition of the selfish lover type of gameplay.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just me.
So,
That's just me.
Oh, that's fine. That's a fair assessment.
and moving on with the idea of selfish, we move on to the peril domain cleric, which focuses more on the damsel in distress / peril side of King.
I feel like there's
Yeah,
gonna be some explanation for that one for sure.
We kind of talked on it a little bit with the Path of Terror Barbarian, but the idea of being afraid, scare arousal, being an exhilarating thing in and of itself. Well, this is the flip side of it. Instead of being the one in danger, you're being the one putting others in danger.
Well, I can't
Why
deny
does that
that.
sounds so funny to me?
Yeah.
I can't deny that.
Sounds so
I can't deny that there's always the scare arousal aspect of it, and I still think that's a funny thing of it. And here's the other thing. Okay, so before we go any further, I just need to know, when you say damsel in distress, are we talking about the cleric putting themselves into damsel in distress scenarios?
No, the
No.
cleric is putting someone else in a damsel in distress scenario.
Okay, so that's fair enough.
It's I would say it's like a rigor of sorts. Or something like that. Something similar.
It's very much a case of where this class pushes you to the brink of harm, of death, of anything, and you basically are pushing them ever so closer and getting off on them being so close to it and then pulling them back. And that's very clearly emphasized by the fact that the spells involved, all of them except for vampiric touch, do not cause pain directly. Your very first spells from this domain are Cure Wounds and Sanctuary.
Yeah. Yeah, the vast majority of the spells here are all about healing others, because that's the thing. If you're gonna be
I was about to say that's
going
what
out-
clerics do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the healer of Bundhiem. If you're gonna go out of your way to put others in dangerous scenarios, you also need to be ready to help them through whatever actual pain you cause them.
And also take responsibility for what happens in case you put themselves in too far of danger, too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which I think we can all agree. That is always a good thing, is to have, like, you gotta feel safe in certain situations. And I think that's what clerics are meant to be. They get a bum rap a lot of the time because, obviously, they...
Shadowheart.
Yes, exactly. But they're not... But that's not necessarily a bad thing when you are, like... When you look at a character like this, it's meant to basically be something unique, but it also still plays into the traditional cleric aspect, which I think is a good thing. Something that we normally wouldn't get that much, or we would even get a lot of, in terms of, like... I don't know how to describe this without sounding weird, so... I'm not really... It's complicated. I don't know how to... I'm trying to find the words for it, and I just don't know if I can. But basically what I'm saying is that clerics are known to be healers. This is still a healer. It's just a healer that happens to be, you know, a little bit like, hey, maybe you should go play in oncoming traffic for a little bit. Maybe
Wait, this reminds me of I'm a healer, but...
Yeah. Well, I'm a healer, but...
Kind
like, well, hold on. What's the but for? It's just ignore it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Just don't worry about it. Don't think about it.
No, I'm going to worry about it.
Don't need to.
I think I do.
This is a class also who gives you basically the rewards are insane. So basically, let's see here. If they have less than 50% HP, they gain a pleasure point, which is huge on its own. If they have less than 10%, then they heal an additional D6 for every point of pleasure that they have. And if they're at 1, if they're on the very brink, basically on the verge of blacking out, the creature makes saving throws with advantage, and all effects that restore hit points use the maximum number possible for each die roll. Spells you cast that heal the creature are considered to have been cast with a spell slot 2 levels higher than what was actually spent to cast the spell when determining the spell's effect for the creature.
Absolutely wild.
You bring them right back from the very brink, suffering and shivering in pure pleasure. As they gain more HP, they gain more pleasure, and it's just absolutely this sense of, I can bring you as close as capable. Let's go again. And you respect life because of that.
So basically, Jigsaw.
Yes.
God damn it.
Horny Jigsaw.
Oh god, I could. Oh god. Oh god, no.
I like to
You
play a
made me in the head
game.
now.
I
Oh,
like to play a
no.
game. In front of you is a Sibian. If you sit on it for a full 10 minutes. Hold on, wait. I didn't even finish. You made your sale. Oh god, this is... I don't know how fun. I'm sorry. The more we're diving into this, I'm like, I'm learning a lot. But honestly, let's think about this for a second here. Like, this is just keeping someone alive. It's a very extreme way of keeping someone alive, but it's keeping someone
Mhm.
alive. This is not that different than what clerics are meant to be. They're meant to feel like the heal bots, and or depending on that one cleric who doesn't want to be the heal bot, the damage dealer.
A harmacist.
Yeah, the harm assist.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
So,
that term.
if I may, I think that this would be a great spot to just put a pause in and then bring Neffy and anyone else back in on Saturday for the rest of the subclass.
I was about to say the
Oh, I
same
would love
thing.
that.
I would
I would
we
love to do
should do
that.
that because like we didn't get to include
There's a lot.
there's a lot, and we
It
didn't
is a
even
lot.
get to include anyone's real perspective. I mean, we got Neffy's, but what I mean is like we had
Neffy's-
Neko.
Neffy's
I would have
boy.
loved to have Neko.
Boy.
I would have liked to have Neko, Bun Bun, and even maybe and definitely Serenity's impact on this. So I think we should.
Serenity would love this.
So what we're gonna do
Yeah.
is we're gonna pause it here. This has been our so actually it looks like we're gonna be having one more episode of Kinks and Cantrips so hey, I'm not complaining at all. I think that's fantastic because
yeah.
we just got to the druids.
And let me just say
yeah.
that
And
Damage for the
Neko-
druids, holy shit.
Neko needs to be here for the druids.
Mhm.
yes, we have to have the druids. We can't not have the druids.
Also, just a heads up, we may want to work on figuring out that censoring because 123, woof.
I know.
And 124. Mm.
And 127. No, 120. Yeah,
I will say. I will say for 123, you just don't as long as you just don't scroll down to it, it's fine because it's just the latter half of that page.
Yeah.
124, however, yeah.
Yeah. There's just a.
there is a lot to take
There's
in there.
there's a lot going on in that one.
Look. The point is
Very
that
detailed.
we barely got through it. We didn't. I don't even think we got through half of the classes yet. We still got.
I think
we
it's
also
gonna
had
cut-
a lot about the species and and a little bit about the backgrounds.
Yeah. But wow, like okay, we're definitely gonna have to bring in people on this one because, yeah, for example, the bear druid.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot, but I do know one thing. Druids that.
Anywho.
Yeah. Anywho. So anyway, we're gonna.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that we got through the classes that a lot of us just kind of are simple about. Not that they're bad per se, but a lot of the reactions I can anticipate from others would have been a lot of similarity, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And let's be fair here. Like, we were never going to get through all of them at once because we glossed over quite a few things. And I feel like we're doing a disservice that we're skipping, that we didn't get to go into so many more details. Like, obviously, the druids alone, I want to, like, if we're going to talk about the druids, I want the druids to, like, be as interesting. Like, I want to go through all of the druid stuff, not just, like, one thing or two things, but, like, enough to like basically just everything. Like,
yeah.
And I
And
think that's a good thing.
And I'm just going to come out and say this. The monks are interesting, but the paladins are where my interests lie.
Well, we're definitely going to want to talk about that, but I think we're going to end it here. And let me just give my final thoughts on what we covered today. I would say this. I don't even think half these classes necessarily need to just be in Bundhiem. Basically, looking at what we've been talking about here, these classes not only feel unique, but they actually, even if you take away like the few that did focus on the pain and pleasure one, they all feel like legitimately cool subclasses that could fit into a standard D&D book and not out of place or overpowered. Which, with a lot of homebrews, I typically do feel like they do not playtest their playstyle enough that they aren't broken. So to have like decent, really well-written really well-written character classes, I would love to have, like, maybe even just like have variations of these included in our campaigns down the road. We'll need to figure that out, but I think that's definitely something we could do in the near future.
If I may, along with this book, there is a basically a safer work variation of this book, which explains the mechanics and the backgrounds and the classes with terminology that is more streamlined and less directly related to the kink aspect.
Yes,
So,
we did discuss that part already, so I'm well aware of that. I'm just saying, like, there's Neko. Neko, how are you doing? You feeling better?
Not much. I just had to go to the store for a second, and I feel better because I got to walk a little bit.
Okay.
okay.
That's good.
So we were wrapping
So-
up, but before we go, Neko, next week we're going to be bringing everyone on Saturday to talk about the remaining classes. We barely got through, like, I think we only got through maybe like 4 of them already, and we haven't really got through all of them, so we would definitely like to have you guys back to talk about, like, the druids, the paladins, the femboy maid. 3.
Femboy maid?
Yeah, there's a femboy maid. Oh, 3. I just checked. We got through.
Damn it.
Yeah, we got through 4 classes and subclasses. We still got the druid, the fighter, the monk, the paladin, the ranger, the rogue, the sorcerer, the warlock, and the wizard. We got 8 left. Wow.
Wait, I got wait, hold up.
Yeah, hold up. What's up?
So I see this one art where a guy is being held by tentacles with mushrooms on it. Is that one of the druids?
I think it might. It
what-
might be Circle of the
what
Paul.
page?
Yeah. What? Which one?
100.
I don't know. No, the
100.
classes are. I don't think it's that one, but there is one of a druid who's like with a bear and with bondage gear on. He looks like a.
Oh.
Yes, I will hold you. His name is Teddy, and I give him pets
Can
and
I please
scritches.
DM this one? Can I please DM this one?
We're-
Can I please DM this
You-
one?
okay,
Can I
okay,
please
okay.
DM this one?
Yes, you can
Please.
DM this, but we're not in the campaign yet. We are talking about the book, so we're giving everyone a chance to look at the book coming up, and we will be talking more about it next week. And I am,
There's a BDSM mermaid?
yeah,
What the fuck is this thing about? I like it, but what is happening?
Okay, we can wrap up the stream and we can get Neko up to speed.
we're gonna have to. Okay, well, we're gonna end the
Good
video.
idea.
So we're gonna end the video here, folks. If you are watching, please, for the love of God, like, comment, and subscribe. We know that we are once again plugging again, but remember, the algorithm is the true dom in our relationship, and we are all subs to it. And if you are
Yeah.
watching this, please
That's
note that
what-
we
thank
do
you.
not, we do not, and we will be putting a link to Kinks and Cantrips in the book, the Shop IOO link. So if you want to buy a copy of it, you're more than welcome to. As always, we support the official creator, so we are giving our shout out to to who made this book. I believe it is, once again, the person was T.S. Michaels. I think that's just their hand name, but they're the lead writer on it. And also, thank you so much, TS, for your contributing. We love your book. Hope we get to talk to you one day. I would love to see how you came up with this concept for a book. I absolutely love it. So, we're going to end here. That's my final thoughts. We'll be back next week for more crazy shenanigans.
Yep, with Circle of the Tamer Druid, where you get to have pet play and turn your friends into animals. That's gonna be fun.
We'll talk more about that last time.
All right, so we'll be back next week. Love you all, and peace out from this has been your DM Garson. Our session is over. Now, please, for the love of God, pay me my $20 for the pizza I ordered because I brought it and I deserve at least the payment back.
Bye-bye.